welcome back to Momina's Mixed Plate Season 3, powered by Insignia Shoes. A very happy Pakistan Day to you all. This is our 23rd March special. In the studio with me, I have journalist Wajahat Saeed Khan. We're going to be talking about, well, a lot of things like in his past. We're going to be talking about his journey. We're going to be talking about how Pakistani politics became the reality TV version of whatever the hell we're seeing on television these days. So we're going to be diving into all things politics, all things socioeconomically, Pakistan mein kya chal raha hai. Wajahat is going to be giving me a little bit of an insight. So stay tuned till the end of the episode. Before we get started, you guys don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to be part of the Momina's Mixed Plate family. And let's welcome on Wajahat Khan. Hi, Wajahat.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Pakistan Zindabad.
I know, I'm fully dressed.
You look the part. You look great.
Yes, I know. And I was feeling your eye on me while I was giving my cue in there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I think this guy is actually probably judging me.
No,
like,
not at all. Just enjoying the national colors, which you're sporting very well.
Yes, I thought that it is 23rd March and I was like, I'm not a very big shalwar kameez person, so I'll wear that.
I am a big shalwar kameez person, but I was going to put it on, but something happened and I decided to basically climb out of bed. So
it's okay. As long as you're here, that's what matters. First things first, is economy ke andar everyone is trying to move outside of Pakistan. What prompted you to land back here?
Well, you throw a circus, the animals will come. That's the logic. So yes, Pakistan's a great story. I live in New York, as you know, but I've come back because such is the sign of the times. Journalists work the opposite way. Like when people leave, refugees flee, floods come, everybody moves this way, journalists go the other way. That's just how we're trained. Been doing it all my life. Of course, I'm also here to rethink, recalibrate, reset. There's always opportunity in chaos. I'm starting my own show,
yes,
inspired by yours, backed by the same creators of this show. And
I'm the creator of my show, so who's creating yours?
Well, come on, you know this. It's PH Solutions. It's Phoebe Arun.
Yes, that is true.
So the green room begins, inspired partially by your pants, but also by sustainability, justice, gender equality, things which my 20 years in local TV didn't perhaps allow me, or formats which weren't available or perhaps popular, which I think now, because of digital and the freedom it entails, are now the need of the hour. So, yeah, so watch out for that. I'm on your 6.
Okay, done. Okay, I recently read a tweet by you,
oh, no.
which I'm going to read out here.
Oh, no.
Because I have questions about that.
Oh,
tweet.
no. Okay.
So I was looking for things about Wajahat and I was going through your Twitter. And there was a rather unique tweet there which read, Karachi weekday routine. Rise, coffee, read, write, lift, hunt, kill, eat, repeat. So what I want to know is, who are you hunting and what are you killing?
Well, you'll have to spend a whole weekday to get the real answer. But listen, I am very primordial, very basic about life, right? I think we were evolved to go hunt, leave our caves, go hunt, kill, eat, bring it back for the rest of the fam. That's how men and women have evolved over millions of years. And I think I'm heading back into that mode. Eating means work, killing means getting work. Hunting means finding work.
You're an inherent storyteller. So I want to know your story. Tell me about your interest, how you got interested in journalism. Tell me about your childhood.
Nobody's ever asked me that. That's weird. So my story is simple. I'm from Quetta. That's where my parents met. Grew up in Karachi. Went to the best school in the world, the grammar school, and where you had to be good at something. At every stage, and or rich, preferably both, right? And I was neither, because I was a bit of a bad boy and I was getting into the wrong crowd, the wrong girls, the wrong everything. And then...
Why be wrong girls? You were probably wrong.
Listen, I was this tall in 8th grade, all right? There's a lot of senior girls who were not thinking the right thing. But coming back, in a very high pressure cooker that is the grammar school, where you have to be good at something, I was falling behind. And then one day, I get called in after essay I write in the general exam in my A-levels. And there's a famous teacher who's passed away now, God bless her soul. She's the head of the English department, head of the A-level department, Mrs. Asanuddin. So many people have graduated from under her wings. And she's got her glasses right there, and she's looking at me in the full staff room meeting. I get called in. She's looking right there at my paper, and she's like, Mr. Khan, what do you think of plagiarism? And I'm like, Miss, what do you think of air conditioning? And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, if you're suggesting I plagiarize that essay you're reading in the 45-degree Celsius weather, which they used to make us sit in the open air for exams, like 10 feet away from each other in the midsummer sun. Brutal.
That's
I mean, it's
insane.
inhuman. I was like,
हमें पंखे मिलते थे.
हमें वो भी नहीं मिलते थे.
We had like air conditioners. Before that we had nothing.
हमें वो भी नहीं मिलते थे. पता नहीं कौन से ज़माने के अंग्रेजों के जेलर थे, you know. But anyway, so I was like, if you're suggesting I plagiarize that paper in 45 degrees, you're onto something. She liked the answer. Then she said, Asha, and she's like, would you like a job? And I was like, well, I know you're not going to pay, so I have one demand. And she's like, what is it? I was like, if I'm allowed to, I want to pick my own team. And that was the beginning of running the country's oldest publication, our yearbook, which was at that time, Momina, 130 years old. The Grammarian is a fantastic publication. It's a great place as a student journalist to start. That's where it starts. Put together a template which still works for the grammar school, took that to college, continued at the college level, was lucky enough to be in this fantastic college paper, which is very independent. It's the first time I started. This was in Michigan, bang in the middle of the Midwest.
Ann Arbor?
In Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And the Michigan Daily has an old history, another 100-something-year-old paper, old history of covering wars, covering local politics, not just student life, but the city. And then 9/11 happens, and I'm a junior. One day, writing an editorial, and midnight, class in 7 hours. And then my editor, Emily Eichenbaum, this tall, blonde goddess, just a total crush on her. Still do. She comes and puts her hand here, and I'm like, she's like, what are you doing, Waj? Which is the Gora version of my name. And I'm saying, besides dying of a heart attack, I'm trying to write an editorial on the history department. And she turns around and says, well, if I were you, I'd go where history is being made, not write editorials about the bloody history department. She walks off, with her hips swaying in the sunset. And, I was like, okay. So a few days later, I got my house in order. I cleared my exams. I got my professors to let me off the semester early. Now, this is months after 9/11, 2 months after 9/11. By November of 2001, as the Americans had started their bombing raids over southern Afghanistan, I was there. By December...
In Afghanistan?
Yeah, I took a flight to Karachi, I took a bus to Quetta, I took a taxi to Chaman, I paid off the military, I got a motorcycle across to...
Was it their way of deporting you, but like silently deporting
no,
you?
they gave me a camera, the college paper gave me a camera, and 5 weeks later, I was in Kandahar as the Taliban were coming out, again, going the wrong way, as the Taliban were coming out, and the US Rangers were flying in, the B-52s in the air. I was the only college journalist on the ground covering the war.
What prompted you to go? Like, I have this in my, I put this down as one of my talking points, and I'm glad that you just brought it up. Because I was going to ask you that, how did 9/11, because you were there, right there.
It was Emily Eichenbaum's curls. No, it was actually the story. It was the story had to be told. I mean, my editor, bless her, she ended up being at the Tribune. But that's what a good editor does, right? That's what a good boss does, is inspire you. Here you are sitting in Ann Arbor in the midst of this changing moment in American history, writing an editorial, which, I don't know, whoever's going to read about some funding of some department, but the way she said it, and she said, isn't there where you're from? Go where history is being made. What's stopping you? And what was stopping me? I'm a Pakistani. I know the language. I know the region. I grew up in Quetta. I can do it better than most people. What's stopping me? What's stopping us from doing things which matter? And I returned grizzled, tired, hungry, thank God, in one piece. But by 20, I was just that old. By 20 moment, I was clear that this is going to be it. And I was lucky because so many people graduate, and years after the fact, they still don't know what they want to do.
Essentially, you started off becoming a war journalist.
Yeah, it was baptism by fire. As you may recall, the country was going through a huge boom. This was the golden age of Musharraf. Now, whether you like it or not, or
Yeah, it
like
was.
him or not. I mean, this is when there was MTV and off-shoulder
I-
dresses and multiple channels and
I'm
fashion
a product
shows.
of that generation.
Right,
Like, I mean,
we
I
all
dress
are.
like this because I was able to dress like that when I was growing up.
Right, right. I mean, I have a job because of a dictator. That's the irony of that era. So there was a lot which happened in that era. I rode that wave. It was a great wave to ride. And the story kept on being told. I helped launch one of the country's major channels, Geo, then another great channel, Dawn. And then things started slipping. Right around the time you went to college, I think, things started slipping because 3 things happened since then which have changed my perspective of this country as well as changed the country. And we haven't recovered since then. December 2007, Benazir is killed. 6 months later, by May, June 2008, Musharraf's out. And another 6 months after that, Mumbai is attacked.
Yeah.
And it was almost clinical. And within those 12, 13 months, 2007, 2008, I feel like all the gains which this country had, all the sacrifices which this country made, were
Gone.
yeah, they evaporated. But hey, I got through that. And then I moved to Islamabad. Well, one thing I realized about Islamabad, agree with me here, that Islamabad is a beautiful city 10 minutes from Pakistan, right? It's everything works. It's perfect, right?
It is perfect.
People are jogging. There's moms with their like twins on the,
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
pram.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's available. Traffic lights work. Even the cops look good. People are driving in the lanes. There's goris and goras running
now,
around.
It's not a city.
It's not. It is exact. Well said. But I mean,
It's a settlement. Lahore is a city. Karachi is a city. It's a monolith. It's an organism. It works. It breathes. It fights. It does. Both the cities, they have this energy.
But it helped me, that gig, and then multiple gigs for local and foreign channels helped me, even though it was a rough time, that helped me understand Pakistan better. So that's when I really hit the road. And then I kind of covered the Khan election and spent a few weeks in his office being a fly on the wall. And that's when I flew down to my mom in the late fall of 2018 after spending a few weeks in Prime Minister Imran Khan's office and said, Mama, main ja raha hu. I'm done. Third time.
I think Imran Khan drove anybody good in this country away from this country.
Well, I'm not gonna, it's a sweeping statement, but I had seen things where I was like, you know what, this maybe isn't as tabdeelied as one would think.
It is not tabdeelied at all. In fact, it's like the same thing in a different body, trying to be all this unbelievable that I am your savior when you're actually...
Listen, I love Imran Khan. I just don't like the way he was running his ship. And I didn't like the way...
I don't like him as a human being.
I don't
like him as a person. I don't like him as a politician. And I do not like the way he runs his ship.
Listen, so the way he was running his ship, that's you. But as far as I'm concerned, Khan is an interesting, charismatic, perhaps even a talented leader. But the way he was
a leader, but sure. Okay.
But I mean, people do vote for him. Millions of people voting for you qualifies you as a leader. But at the end of the day, to answer your question initially posed about the reality show that is Pakistani television.
Yeah, but I was going to come back to it now.
/ politics. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's listen.
To me, it does look like a reality show.
ZAB, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was getting drunk and peeing in people's pools at parties in the 70s. Just that, we hear about them, nobody could shoot it, right? But I mean, the drama's been happening for decades. The egomaniacal shit show, if I may call it that is Pakistani politics. Whether it's military-driven or elite-driven, whether it's from Karachi, in the mean streets of Karachi, or the Takht of Lahore, or the valley.
I love the mean streets of Karachi, the Takht of Lahore.
Or the beautiful valley, which is completely out of touch in Islamabad with the reality that is the country.
That's the real beast.
Right. Whether it's sort of irrelevant, but the thing is that they've been doing this to us for decades. And the very fact that we're only now being able to debate it in this setting, where, for example, women can now actually put their hand up as well and say, yo, let's take a minute. Frankly, it's the same shit show which we've been seeing for decades, and I'm not surprised.
But I feel like that the way that politics is discussed in Pakistan now, you know what I mean? Like the way the Pakistani political shows are, it's almost like rather than having an actual discussion, it's like you're pitting two people who do not get along or do not have Just argue,
Yeah,
scream.
But I mean, the Pakistani television, and I'm very glad I left it and moved on back to legacy media in the US. I think Pakistani television is reflective of, what's happened to the Pakistani intellectual. The Pakistani middle class has deteriorated. Har cheez pe Allah ka wasta, har cheez pe personal jabs. Blasphemy has become a trigger. I mean, you can get people killed, man. You can get whoever the hell you want killed by calling them on your show, putting them in a position, and boom. I mean, I love her, but Meher Bukhari's interview with Salman Taseer eventually got the poor man shot. Meher was a younger journalist at the time. We were all younger. She was passionate. But if you watch that show, it's a slippery slope. She keeps on pushing him. This is 12 years ago, as you know. She keeps on pushing him, Momina. And do watch this show. It's so dangerous. And he finally says, what's your problem? This law sucks. Blah. I mean, the man is entitled. He's the serving governor of Punjab. He's entitled to say what he has to say. But she was so reproachful about it that eventually prosecution ended up proving that the guy who killed him, his bodyguard, ended up saying, oh, I was affected by this show. And that's the slippery slope Pakistani journalists stand on. So it's not just that the arguments are cringe, aap bataiye. The formats are stale. Of course they are, because they haven't evolved. Exposure nahi hai, travel nahi karte, kitabein nahi padhte, और लोगों से बात नहीं करते, बहस नहीं करते, मुबाहिसा नहीं करते. एक अंग्रेजी चैनल होता था. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि अंग्रेजी is जबरदस्त, but the constitution is written in अंग्रेजी यार. The laws are in अंग्रेजी. So, एक होता था channel बंद हो गया. I helped launch it. I also helped bury it because it was sad but true. And that is a dangerous occurrence. I'm trying to battle that personally. I'm trying to battle that professionally. I think so are you. You're fighting the good fight in your own show. And I hope to do the same on mine.
That's amazing. Since it is like obviously 23rd of March, is there one thing that you would like to say to everybody? Just something about the mindset of our generation and of our people, like, what is that one thing that we need to inculcate?
This is really up to us, right? I mean, we can just hang back and watch them take this away from us. We can watch them take away our conversations. We can watch them take away our freedom. We can allow them to tell us how to wear and what to eat and what to drink, and where to go, or we can try to take it back. And I'm not asking people to put their Che Guevara shirts on and hit the streets. There's better ways to protest. But frankly, this is a young country. 2/3 of it is super young, under 25, and that makes it full of potential, but also full of peril. You realize what your potential is and what your peril is. I mean, the fact is that
we carry both of them at the same time.
If we don't realize this as our moment, the folks who have been running the ship for decades now will just run it into the ground. I think this is when we step up. I know I'm being oblique. I don't have any solutions, but I have a demand. I have a demand. Hunt, kill, and eat. Move on. Do something which is productive. Do the right thing. Work out. That's really good. Don't smoke, even though I struggle with that. And just sail through life. And please, please, please empower the 51%. Empower women.
Brilliant. And thank you so much for taking up the time. I wish you all the best with your show and your move back and,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pakistan Zindabad.
I was going to say that in my cue out. But I hope you guys enjoyed the segment. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be part of the Momina and Explain family. A very happy 23rd March to everyone. Pakistan Zindabad. And I will see you next time. Take care.